Hello YouTube, thanks for tuning in. So this is going to be a fun video about having fun with your narcissist, how to beat them at their own game and enjoy it. So before we get into this material, got to put a few disclaimers out there. Number one, you must understand that this person has been doing this for a lot longer than you. They're much more skilled, they're much more passionate about accomplishing their objectives. So keep that in mind. You're not dealing with a novice. You're dealing with someone who has advanced skill in this disorder. So only engage at your own risk, which leads me to disclaimer number two. If there are any risks involved, then do not do any of the techniques I'm about to describe. These should only be tried with low-level narcissists where there's no real threat to your physical person, there's no threat to your property, and there's no threat to your livelihood, okay? And number three, disclaimer, you should really only do this when you're at the tail end of your healing or when you have healed completely, and maybe this is just a narcissist you can't get rid of for different reasons, legal reasons, familial reasons. For whatever reason, you're stuck with this person and the stakes are very, very low, and you are healed completely. Because if you're still caught in codependency, these will not go over well for you because, again, remember, these people are very skilled at this. It's almost like they've studied it. So they're better at it than you are. However, if you have a bit of a rebellious instinct, if you are at the tail end of your healing or you've healed completely, and if the stakes are low, I say it's time to have a little bit of fun with your narcissist. Okay, so there are a couple of ways to really get under their skin, and it's so fun to watch. Up until this point, the narcissist has relied on your lack of awareness in order to operate. Once you become aware, it's like somebody turned the lights on. They can't operate as effectively anymore because you're now aware. The mistake most codependents make is they call the narcissist out immediately. They might even call them a narcissist to their face. This is useless. This is pointless because now they're just going to go, uh-oh, I got lazy. Let me ramp it back up. I'm off my game. So they're just going to turn their efforts up to get you back in line. So you don't really want to call them out on it because now that you're aware, you can study them. And that's what's so fun about these people because they really are kind of predictable. And that's why a lot of the videos you'll hear on YouTube, everyone is kind of saying the same thing. We all use different examples. Some of us use similar examples. You'll get something out of every video you listen to every time because we've all gone through different versions of this. But part of the reason it's all so similar is because these people operate in the exact same way. They do not deviate. Over time, they become predictable. Part of the reason I want to do these videos is because I want to help you be able to see them as predictable. And once you are, you have so much more power and you're so much more empowered. So here's how to have a little bit of fun with your narcissist. Ignore them. Oh. If you really want to get under a narcissist's skin, ignore them. And there are more ways to ignore people than just not answering the phone and not returning a text message. That's child's play. If you want to ignore the narcissist, you don't necessarily downplay their accomplishment, you neutralize it. So let's say they got a promotion at work and they went on and on and on about this promotion. You should say something like, that's really great. And leave it at that. That's really great. And they're going to go, where's the fanfare? Where's the confetti? Where's the red carpet? This person is not as excited about the stuff as he or she usually is. Because normally you're like, oh my God, that's awesome. Congratulations, you worked so hard for that. Oh, you really overcame that crappy boss you had. Let's go out for drinks. Let's celebrate. That's who you normally are, right? So this time, when they tell you about their promotion or whatever it is, you go, that's really great. That's really great. I'm sorry. It makes me laugh because it's going to catch them off guard because you're still acknowledging it. You're still giving them some kind of food. You're not flipping it back to yourself. You're not going to steal the conversation away from them like they do to you. All you're doing is just not giving them the fanfare that they're accustomed to. So they're going to tell you about this awesome thing, and you're going to go, that's really great. That's a form of ignoring someone in a way, because you're not really playing up what's happening in their life. Okay? The way you're not a narcissist about it is that you don't then snatch the conversation and turn it to you. You let them have the floor continually, and all you give them is little bite-sized pieces of confirmation. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay? Here's another way to really get under the skin of your narc. Notice, narcissists will often take a lot of digs at you. Big digs, little passive-aggressive maneuvers. And once you recognize them as a narcissist, you understand that they're doing it to kind of tear at your self-esteem, to chip away at it without being out in the front about it, without being overt about it. So when you notice their digs, if you normally kind of react, or you find yourself defending yourself, or you have some kind of reaction to their dig, just ignore it, or just pretend you didn't hear it. Or here's one of my favorites, just play dumb. Oh man, play dumb. Playing dumb is the equivalent of playing dead. There are lots of animals in the animal kingdom that when they are in the face of their predator, they just play dead. And the predator leaves them alone because it's no fun, because part of the fun for the predator is the kill, the chase and the kill. So if you're just laying there playing dead, then they're not going to have any fun. They're going to kick around at your feet a little bit. They're going to poke you with a stick. When you're not moving, they're going to walk away because you're no fun. Okay? So play dumb, play dead, pretend not to hear it, or fake like you heard something else entirely and respond to that. Like, they like to screw with your mind, so you screw with theirs a little bit. If they're like, oh, I see you're wearing summer shoes in the wintertime, be like, they have this awesome sale on winter boots. Did you see that sale at Macy's? Like, it's funny to me because, it really requires you to stay in the moment and to maintain a presence of mind about the whole situation. But when you do it, it's funny because, and here's why it's not evil, because someone might listen to this and go, well, you're just acting just like them. No, you're just returning to them what they give to you every day. You're giving to them what they give to you every single day. Why is it okay to do little digs at you? Why is it okay to showboat and never let you have the floor and never let you have accomplishments and something that you're happy about? Why is it always their show? So when you do these little things to them, it kind of brings them back to earth and reminds them, hey, you're a human being. I know you're missing the empathy chip. I don't know what happened. I don't know if that's a birth injury or something that happened after you were already here, but you're missing that, and I get that, but you're still a human being and you have to be a good person. All right. So here's another technique that you can use to have a little fun with your narcissist. If your narcissist is verbose, meaning they talk a lot, and not just talk a lot, they dominate the conversation. It's usually all about them, and they never flip it back to you. It's not a reciprocal conversation. It's a monologue. It's a one-man or a one-woman show. If your narcissist does this to you a lot, the next time they call you and you have an opportunity to actually speak, jump right in. Sentence after sentence after sentence after sentence after sentence after sentence. Don't breathe. Keep it going. Sentence after sentence after sentence after sentence after sentence. Change the subject. Change it back. Sentence after sentence after sentence after sentence. Your narcissist will be so overwhelmed because A, they're not used to listening to anybody but themselves talk. B, they're trying to keep up with all these words and they can't. They're getting flustered. C, they're trying to figure out how they're ever going to turn it back to them, and if they can't get it back to them, how they're going to get off the phone. And D, they're just sitting there wondering, well, what just happened? Wait a minute, this is not how this goes. He or she must be on drugs today, because normally I'm the one doing all the talking. This is my show. Wait, what happened here? So if they talk too much, you have to jump in right away, because if you don't, they're going to steal the show from you. So as soon as you pick up the phone, oh my God, I'm so glad you just called. I just almost got in an accident on the highway, but I'm okay now. Everything's fine. You know, the cop said that it wasn't my fault, and so they didn't give me a ticket. Did you know that you have to call those kinds of things into your insurance? And I didn't know that, and it really upset me, and I was on hold for 20. I mean, just go. Just take off running. Keep a little bulleted list in front of you if you need to, in order to keep the subjects going. If you're not used to doing that much talking, try it a couple times. If you can get through it without laughing, because you'll probably start laughing because it's hysterical, because who does that? Okay? And here's a disclaimer. I don't mind people who talk a lot as long as what they're saying is of substance. Okay? One of my favorite things to do is just sit and binge watch YouTube videos from different authors, because I'm interested in what they have to say. They usually aren't just talking all about themselves or going on and on tangents and not making any sense. They have substance. I don't mind listening to substance. Narcissists don't have any substance. They're hollow shells. Remember that. Okay? Here's a technique for if you work in an office and you have a resident narc in your office. If they come over to your office or your cube and they trap you for 5, 10, 15 minutes, from now on, right before they leave, ask them to do something for you. I don't care what it is. Send them to the soda machine. Ask them to look up some file that's buried deep down in the archives. Ask them to buy some Girl Scout cookies. Ask them to do something, though, so they know that every time they visit your desk, they're going to walk away with a task. Give their asses a task. And I guarantee you their visits will decrease. Why? Because they don't like doing things for other people. They don't like to have to work, okay? They're very lazy people in mind and spirit. So give them a task every time they stop by your desk. Throw this away for me. Run this to the fax machine. Will you go ask Bobby in accounting? Give them a task. And eventually they'll get tired of coming to your desk, because they'll get tired of you asking them to do things. And then here's another one. And the final one, this one's for the office. If you have a narcissistic boss, crazy psycho boss, every time you're in their presence, take notes. I don't care what the meeting is about. The meeting can be about the company picnic. Take notes. Write down anything. You could write down your grocery list. You could actually write down what they're saying. That'll really freak them out. If you really, really want to freak them out, be like, oh, slow down 1 second. Will you back up? What did you just, say that again, that last sentence. Perfect. And then jot it down in their presence. Make sure they can see it. And then if you really want to sketch out your narcissist, switch up the color of notebook. Switch up the color of notebook every time you take notes. All right, so there's a blue notebook, maybe a green notebook, maybe a red notebook, and only take the red notebook out for special occasions, okay? So don't whip out the red notebook all the time. Only every now and then. Switch it up. Don't make it predictable, okay? Have a pink notebook and a yellow notebook. That's too many colors. They'll get too flustered by that. Maybe let's do red, green, and maybe yellow. Yeah, let's keep it real simple. Let's keep it traffic light, like, okay? But if you really want to have some fun, switch up the color of that notebook every time you see them, because that'll get their brain thinking, what is she writing down? And why? What is the red notebook? Why does she bring that notebook every now and then? What happened? What led to the red notebook? Oh man, you'll get them going, because they can't stand not knowing what's going on with you. They can't stand not knowing what their target is up to, because that's how they position themselves. By seeing what you're doing, they can position themselves. So when they don't know the system, they don't know the method to the madness, it drives them crazy. And they deserve it, because they make everyone else's life miserable. Now, everything that I just listed above is not going to change this person until they figure out how to fix this, until medical science figures out how to cure it. There's nothing you can do. All it's going to do is give them a dose of their own medicine, something that they rightfully deserve. It'll give their mind something to do, something to think about, especially if you switch those notebooks up on them, or give them a task every time they come see you. it'll give them something else to think about for a little while until they go back to being crazy. So again, if you tuned in halfway through the video, I did a bunch of disclaimers in the beginning. This is not something you want to try with a malignant narcissist. Some of these people are truly, truly evil down to the core, and they're not people you want to trifle with, because they have weapons at their disposal that they've been waiting to use. Mental weapons, different tactics, and sometimes literal weapons in extreme cases. So be very, very careful. Be very rooted. Do your homework. Study, study, study all about this disorder, because only when you know a lot about it can you then toy with these people. Because once you really truly internalize it, you recognize how predictable they are and how most of them are overgrown 4-year-olds who never got their empathy chip installed. And once you really take heed of that and understand what you're dealing with, and all the illusions come crumbling down and the wool gets pulled off your eyes, and you start to heal, then you can start to have some fun, because you're healthy now. They can't hurt you anymore. Their tactics don't work on you anymore. The different things they used to say to you that could trigger you doesn't work on you anymore, and you recognize it as a trigger. So yeah, so review the disclaimers, and then once you've arrived at that place, by all means, have yourself a little fun, as long as it's a low-level narcissist who doesn't cause any real imminent threat to your life, okay? You guys, thanks so much for listening. Take care. Be safe.